Welcome to Info Nympho's episode on space. I've got a meteorite landing on a woman's pillowcase, a satellite-killing arms race, astronauts getting to second base, space movies that are a disgrace, a rocket-building flat-earther nutcase. But first, Jeff Bezos falling on his face. Space! The Blue Origin flight with its all-female crew has brought a lot of anger and a little laughter. Anger because it was mostly a bunch of rich and famous people going out on an excursion in their new version of a yacht. Other rich famous people chimed in. Olivia Wilde said $1 billion bought some good memes, I guess. Emily Ratajkowski called it end of time shit.
That's end time shit.
Even Wendy's responded to Katy Perry's return to Earth with can we send her back? It is a little ironic that Katy Perry called her crew astronauts and kissed the ground when she landed after her 11-minute flight. Around the same time, these two real astronauts finally came home after being stuck on the ISS for 9 months. Laughter, because evil billionaire Bezos did a faceplant. Now let's add some music. Now let's cut in astronauts falling on the moon. Space. To become an astronaut, it takes about 10 years, including education, work experience, and training. You gotta do this spinny thing, and this underwater thing, and this robot thing, and lots of other stuff. But some people just want to skip all that and build their own steam-powered rocket. Meet Mad Mike Hughes, limo driver / flat earther / daredevil. In 2020, he took off in his homemade rocket, wanting to reach 5,000 feet so he could prove that the Earth was indeed flat. Sadly, his parachute that was to be used in his descent opened early during launch, and he crashed back to Earth without it. Mad Mike died on impact. Space. Space movies are great, but just so when you actually get to space you're not disappointed, here are a few lies they tell you. First of all, explosions are not big, fiery, smoky things. There's no oxygen in space, so it's just sort of a short, lame flash. Which leads us to the second thing. No loud booms, because there's no air for sound to travel in. No pew-pews and screeching TIE fighters. Plus, you also can't see lasers in space. Decompression is bad, don't try it, but it doesn't look like this. You actually start to freeze. But if you're saved within 90 seconds, you'll probably live. After 2 minutes, your blood starts to boil. Interspecies sex. Most space movies have bipedal aliens that look like us. Not likely. But having compatible sex organs? Not a chance. Finally, the idea that any old person can be an astronaut. I'll let Ben Affleck respond to this.
I asked Michael why it was easier to train oil drillers to become astronauts than it was to train astronauts to become oil drillers, and he told me to shut the fuck up.
Space. Sex and space. If we're all going to be taking the 9-month trip to Mars, we better start thinking about it. There are a few problems. First of all, with weightlessness, if you thrust too hard, you could send your partner flying across the ship. Solution? The ISS has Velcro on the walls that could secure your partner. Next, without gravity, blood redistributes differently. More around the head and less around the groin. Not good for sex. However, astronaut Mike Mullane said he had an erection one morning that could have drilled through kryptonite. His penis found a way. Finally, there are concerns of fluids floating around the cabin. That one seems valid. While NASA has been quite squeamish about the topic, others have not. Pornhub tried to crowdfund $3.5 million to do the first porn film in space, but only raised $236,000. Space. The U.S. Space Force is claiming that China is practicing dogfights in space. This is a little misleading because we've all seen Top Gun. This is a dogfight. Even Star Wars has dogfights, but none of this really happens in space. Spaceships, or satellites, aren't aerodynamic because there's no air. They need thrusters to go up and down, left and right. What the Space Force is talking about is a recent incident where several Chinese satellites slowly maneuvered up close to each other. This could simply be maintenance, clearing debris, or even taking a picture, but it could also be them developing counter-space weapons where they can grab other satellites or use a laser or a jammer. Motherfucker! In 2020, Russia tested a nesting doll satellite. a hidden small satellite with a lethal projectile launched out of a larger one and maneuvered near a US satellite. Space. The odds of dying from a falling meteorite are 1 in 1,600,000. In 2022, a woman in BC, Canada woke up to a crashing sound as something came through her roof. Luckily, she had just rolled over because sitting in the bed beside her was a 470-million-year-old space rock the size of a softball. Meteorites are traveling around 400 miles an hour when they hit the Earth. The only confirmed case of somebody getting hit by a meteorite was a woman in Alabama named Ann Hodges. The 8-pound fragment left a 3-foot hole in her ceiling, bounced off her radio, and hit her on the side, leaving a large bruise. She became an instant celebrity, appearing on the TV show I've Got a Secret.
You're not the lady that the meteor fell on, are you?
Space!
Ugh, this food NASA sent up is crap.
Yep, but I got an idea. Hey, Kool-Aid!
Oh yeah!
And that's all there is to know about space.